Question: any tips for staying away from junk food if you have little kids and processed snacks in the house? Um, don't let family buy it. Don't buy it yourself. Put it in a cupboard which is out of reach. So if you've probably got better advice than me, like, where is the cupboard that I can't get to very often?
I mean, you can get to it. You just
I'm too lazy.
in it. Well, yeah, you're too lazy, but you never need to go in it. So I think because I know that if you see it, you'll end up having it. I'll put it in a cupboard that you don't really go into.
And it's in a box as well, isn't it? Like a chest.
Kind of box, labeled like Tilly's snacks or something, just so it's not in plain sight anyway. It's inside a pretty pink box, which he's not going to go into. But I would say, Jerome, either put it in a cupboard that you don't really go in, so then you're not going to open it up and see it, or get the kids to put it in a cupboard so that you don't even know where it is. And then obviously when they say, Dad, can I have one? And you say, yeah, they know where it is. And then if you're feeling like you're tempted for it, go and eat something else, like go and eat an egg or a bit of meat or a bit of cheese or whatever that you're eating at the time. Even if it's not like your meal time, but you're obviously thinking about food because you're wanting the processed junk food. So then just go and eat something else that you were planning that evening. And then obviously, hopefully that's kind of steered your head away from food because you've just eaten.
Yeah, how would you suggest this to someone that has a family where they've got a mixed diet within the household?
What, as in the staying away from it?
Mm.
I mean, it depends on what your mindset's like. Whether you can prepare it for other people and just not eat it, then obviously you're fine. Or like me, you have no other choice but to prepare it. So I just think you just have to keep telling yourself mentally it's not going to do you any favors. It's not worth it. And then, like I say, if you're thinking about it constantly, then just go and eat something else. And I think you always say eat an egg. An egg's probably the best thing if you're hungry or just thinking about food.
Yeah. So nutrient dense, your body won't. I mean, I know some people that can eat like 20 eggs, but most people, they're not going to eat 20 eggs. Like, if I'm sat here right now, I'm going to have my meal after this brief live Q&A, but if I'm sat here right now, I could probably chew on about 4, 5, 6 eggs, and after that point, I'm done. So imagine you've had a meal before that.
Yeah.
You know, your body will just send you a signal, stop, you know.
Yeah. I mean, even if you get like, we got some biltong from Costco's, even if you get like a pack of that, and then if you're feeling like maybe not peckish, but you're obviously bored, if you're thinking about having the junk food, it's probably more boredom. So then just pick out like your biltong or, homemade jerky or whatever that you have.
Yeah.
And then at least it's not going to cause that much issue. You might go over your macros, but okay, it's not the end of the world sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, even you could try the carnivore butter bites, the protein pancakes on my website, my YouTube channel, or like you said, the biltong. Like some of the biltong we get technically is beef jerky, which has different seasonings on it. Now it's better in some sense because it's not loaded with loads of sugar, but it's got some sugar in it. So if you have a sweet tooth, that might just pass that sort of itch initially. It's not the worst thing to eat, I don't think.
And then, so yeah, just keep it in a cupboard that you don't go into. And then I think a lot of the time, out of sight, out of mind, because I think that's like with you. If you don't see it, you don't want it, you're not bothered about it because you know it's in the house, because obviously with the girls, and you know it's there, but because you don't see it, you don't want it. It's not until you see it that you then think about it more. And then you just think, oh, fuck it, I'll have it because you've seen it so many times. So get like a box or something that you can't see through and then put it in that if you don't have a cupboard that you don't go into.
Yeah. That's great advice. Thank you. Very good.
Unfortunately, people are always going to buy it. Other people are going to buy it for the kids, and it's inevitable that it's going to be in your house. So you've got to find a way to mentally get around it.
Very good. If he's mixing carbs in the lard fat, the Randall cycle is a concern. Yeah, I imagine she's talking about little kids and processed snacks.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, with children, some level of Randall cycle activation isn't the worst thing. They're going to be growing a lot, so having a slightly elevated insulin level isn't going to be the worst thing. I want to say slightly, I mean like, having like a tall glass of milk sort of thing with maybe a bit of fruit every now and then. It's not the worst thing to have. Because there will be, I mean, if we look at growing babies, if you give, for example, a baby a diet of whey protein isolate, so it's just effectively protein, then give them butter with that, that won't activate much Randall cycle level. They'll also be very low in deuterium, so they won't actually grow as much. So it's a mixed bag when it comes to different people and how much they need to grow. Now, people that are older that aren't looking to grow from a tiny little, I don't know, 6-7 ounce baby or pound baby into, like a, say, 10 stone human being. It's a different scenario, So with the little ones, I don't think it's terrible to have some amount of carbohydrates in the diet, whether it be from plant or animal foods. Obviously, it's not optimal from the plant foods, but there's definitely worse things to do, I think. Liver's a good example. If they're your kids, wean them off the junk. Did that with my 3 sons who still avoid sugar in their adulthood. That's good advice. Yeah, I was the same with my mum. She didn't often feed me junk food. I remember sitting there in classroom one day and the teachers were like, how many children here have had McDonald's in the last month? Everyone put their hands up. How about the last 3 weeks? I put my hand up. 2 weeks, everyone else put their hand up. 1 week, everyone else put their hand up. Then like 3 or 4 days, like everyone put their hand up nearly every time. It just goes to show you, like, I'm living a more health conscious life because that's drilled into me at a young age. I understand the negative implications of having bad food in my diet. That's not to say I'll never have it or have never had it, but my awareness of it started at a young age. And the same thing's true when I was looking at the sugar-free drinks that I was having. When I was young, we were given sugar-free squash, which is less damaging than orange juice, for example. Despite what everyone says, I still remain the same on that. People criticize and cherry studies and things, they always do it. And I say, we know sugar rots your teeth. We don't know sweeteners rot your teeth. So there's definitely a cause and effect problem there. Other than that, I mean, I've always had, if I've had it, sugar-free squash anyway. I'd never buy, for example, straight sugar cola or Fanta with sugar in it or Tango. I'd always have the sugar-free version. And I've never had, to my knowledge, tooth problems. So it seems cause and effect, I'm not obese. My blood markers seem to be fine in regards to that. I'm not diabetic. So I have no indication that what I've been doing in this time has been bad, What do you think, Sophie, about like weaning off junk food? Is it easy or is it difficult for children?
I think it depends on their age. And I think it depends on obviously what's around you and who's around you. Because obviously if they're like school age and they're young and all their friends are, saying I've had this and this, and they've all got packed lunches and they're all showing what's in them, then obviously kids tend to kind of not copy each other, but they see what everybody else has and they want what everyone else has. So I think it's, yes, weaning them off it, but I think it's teaching them the reasons why and what's good for you and what's not, I think is better than just saying, don't have it. Because if you tell someone don't have something and they don't know why, they kind of just think about it more and they want it more. Whereas if you explain, well, this is better than that, so have this first and then see how you feel, I think it's more beneficial for people to know, the reasons behind it. And I mean, I'm the same. I've always grown up on sugar-free squash. I've always had like 0 like fizzy drinks and sugar-free fizzy drinks. And even now, like, if I was to have a full fat one, like I can tell, and it doesn't taste right and it doesn't feel right, like on my teeth or anything. And I don't have teeth problems either, and like the kids don't. But yeah, I think obviously lead by example, and I think if they can see the adult in their life eating well and then obviously looking well as a result of that, then I think that's better than, letting them have all the junk food.
Yeah, definitely so.